Whoever can hear this voice, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope you stay long enough to enjoy some breaking down of film. I am Barberdo Joe to some, Mr. Ayers to others, and from the banks of the Allegheny River, welcome to Film Bits. This is a little project I started. I'm a high school teacher, and I wanted to analyze films with former students who have gone through my film class. And what I wanted to do is take an entire film and break it down into 5 to 10 minute segments and run through the entire thing, breaking down the entire thing for you all to think about, listen to, etc., etc. So hopefully as I do more and more episodes, you'll hear some special guests as those former students come on here. Otherwise, it'll just be me. Today's film, Episode 1, No Country for Old Men by the Coen brothers. Now, this film was an Academy Award winner for Best Picture, an Academy Award winner for Best Director, and an Academy Award winner for Best Supporting Actor, Javier Bardem, who does an amazing job as Anton Chigurh, but more on him in a bit. So I'm going to do the first 8 minutes or so here in Episode 1 on No Country for Old Men. So let's jump right in. We're going to start off with this montage of still photos, plus this very important voiceover by Ed Tom Bell, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Now, as you're watching this montage, we are going to go from daybreak to the afternoon, and as you can see, we're in wide open Southwest territory. You don't see any signs of cars, you don't see any signs of cities, you don't see really any signs of people, and the only mechanized things you'll see will be very old. And this really sets the scene for the entirety of the setting of this movie. In addition, this Ed Tom Bell monologue also really gives us everything we need to know a little bit early. All right, and I'm going to give you a shot of the entire monologue coming up here so you can see it and we can analyze it. And it becomes very important once Anton Chigurh hits the screen.
Crime of passion, but he told me there wasn't any passion to it. Told me that he'd been planning to kill somebody for about as long as he could remember. Said if they turned him out, he'd do it again.
So finally we have a camera move as we do a slow pan to the left, almost 2 minutes in before the camera actually moves. And that gentleman to the right is Anton Chigurh, handcuffed and being led to the police car. But notice how we don't see his face. And notice in this medium shot as he goes in, we still do not see his face. Now listen to the voiceover when the sheriff puts what he's going to put into the front seat.
And go out and meet something I don't understand.
So when Ed Tom Bell says, "I just don't understand," we get the shot of whatever that contraption is. And that is to let us know that he and Chigurh are going to be meeting up down the road, and he, in his older small town ways, has no capacity to see what's going to be coming at him in the form of Anton Chigurh. There was also an earlier point that Ed Tom said something very important when Chigurh first hits the screen. So the voiceover matching up with the images we see, giving us a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of important story early on. Let's go back in the car for one more shot. There is Chigurh in shadow. Now we are going to cut to the sheriff's station. And what we're going to see when we get to the sheriff's station is the sheriff on the phone and Chigurh in soft focus. So we still haven't seen Chigurh's face clearly. Watch this nice little bit of trickery here as Chigurh gets those handcuffs from behind him. And just as we're about to get a clear shot of his face, he goes off screen and goodbye, sheriff or deputy. Notice the boots. Boots are very important in this film. And that is our first true look at Anton Chigurh's face in that sort of circular move down. All those boot scuff marks. The sheriff gets killed. Chigurh gets the handcuffs off of him and washes off the blood from this exchange. And then we get another shot of just his boots. Now, what's important about this scene is to listen to the very last thing Chigurh says and the very first thing Llewellyn Moss says.
What is that?
Let's cut to where Chigurh gets the man out of the car.
What is that for?
Will you hold still, please, sir?
You hold still.
So what we see there with the hold still dialogue being delivered by both characters is the connection of Chigurh to Moss. These two are going to be meeting later. These two are going to be involved with one another. And it's the first of what I like to call the mirrors, the things that we will see both of these characters do in opposition of one another. Two sides of the same coin, if you will, doing very similar or exactly the same things as this movie goes along. Here we have Llewellyn Moss, played by Josh Brolin. And as he goes down, here's an interesting close-up. Note this close-up for what we see. What's it telling us about Moss? Remember, there's no wasted time and no wasted space in good cinema. So what we are seeing there was important. Great extreme wide shot just to show the vast expanses as Moss, shot of the boots, as Moss tracks down this antelope. And he's going to be getting a lot more than the bloody antelope very soon. So Moss arrives at the drug deal gone bad. We are at 8 minutes. That entire last segment, from about 5 minutes to 8 minutes, after Moss says hold still, is done with no dialogue. This film is very sparse in dialogue, it's very sparse in music, and it's very sparse in non-diegetic, or the kind of sound that characters cannot hear, that only we the audience can hear, sound. All right, I hope you enjoyed episode 1. Episode 2 will pick up at 8 minutes and go on to either 13 or 18 minutes. If the rule you followed led you to this, of what use was the rule?